Welcome to a fascinating journey into the world of lie detection, a realm where science meets suspense and truth seeks to outshine deceit. Across the globe, polygraphs, commonly known as lie detectors, are employed in various high-stakes situations, from criminal investigations to employment screenings. But how much do we really know about these machines and the principles behind them? As we delve into the complexities of polygraph tests, we'll uncover the surprising truths and persistent myths that surround this controversial technology. From the human elements that influence test results to the scientific challenges in studying deception, join me as we explore why experts urge caution and skepticism towards these supposed detectors of dishonesty. But before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to get notified every time I upload a new video, click the bell icon as well. It really helps me out and I appreciate it a lot. Alright, let's get started. Imagine you're scared and your heart starts to race. Your body is showing fear. Now let's talk about lying. Unlike getting scared, lying doesn't make your body react in a special way that screams, "Hey, I'm lying." Psychologist Leonard Sachs, an expert on polygraphs, points out that the things a lie detector test measures, like how fast your heart beats or how much you sweat, don't actually prove someone is lying. Back in 1983, Sachs's research was so powerful that it led to a big change, stopping private bosses from making their workers take these tests just to see if they were telling the truth. In old times, in China, they used to put dry rice in people's mouths when they thought someone might be lying. Why? Because they believed liars have dry mouths, so the rice would stick if you were lying. Today's lie detectors are kind of based on this old idea, but just with fancier tools like measuring heart rate or how much you sweat during questioning. But here's the kicker. Just like that rice trick, modern polygraphs don't really catch liars. They just check how nervous you are, which isn't the same as catching a lie. Next up, we're going into the power seat of the polygraph operators. Stick around to find out how they turn the knobs on truth and deception. Did you know that the person running a lie detector test has a lot of power over the results? Yep, it's like being the referee in a soccer game, but for truth and lies. Before they even start recording the results, polygraph operators chat with the person taking the test. They get to decide if that person seems honest or not, which can really sway how they interpret the test results. Imagine you're drawing a picture and someone else gets to tell you what colors to use and then decides if it's good or not. That's kind of how it works with polygraph tests. These operators are even taught special ways to make people believe the test really works. It's like magic tricks to make the test seem more impressive than it actually is. Scientists think this whole setup is shaky and doesn't hold up as a true scientific test. The mix of being part scientist and part detective makes it super tricky to know if the test is fair or just a well-played guessing game. And speaking of tricky, wait till you hear how these tests react to nerves rather than actual lies. Let's take a closer look at what really gets measured during a polygraph test. Polygraph tests seem like they're straight out of a detective movie, but how reliable are they really? Experts like Dr. Leonard Sachs and Dr. Gershon Ben-Shahar have pointed out that it's super tricky to figure out if these tests truly work. Most of the time, they're just measuring how nervous you are, not whether you're telling the truth. Here's the problem. When researchers try to test if polygraphs work, they use pretend crimes and situations. But let's be honest, pretending isn't the same as the real deal. You might pretend you stole a cookie, but it's not going to make you as nervous as if you really did swipe it. The National Research Council says it's super important to know if these tests are doing their job right. But many studies that say polygraphs work well are using these made-up scenarios. Plus, they don't consider that some sneaky folks might know tricks to beat the test, like controlling their breathing or thinking calming thoughts. As we peel back more layers of the polygraph mystery, let's explore a twist. Even being wrongly accused can send your heart racing. Get ready to find out why next. Did you ever get blamed for something you didn't do? Like maybe your sibling said you ate the last cookie, but it wasn't you? Remember how your heart started beating fast because you were upset and surprised? That's exactly what can happen during a polygraph test, even if you're totally innocent. Here's something surprising. The people who operate these lie detector machines, called polygraphers, don't need very much training. In fact, the Department of Defense, which trains a lot of polygraphers, only asks for 14 weeks of training. That's less than what a barber needs to learn how to cut hair. And guess what? Some of these polygraph schools don't really check if the polygraphers have lots of education. Sometimes, just having work experience is enough to get started. This makes it even trickier because if you get nervous or upset when falsely accused, the polygraph might mistakenly think you're lying because your body reacts. It's not just about telling lies. It's about how your body feels when you're under pressure. Next up, let's dive into the surprising reality of training to become a polygrapher. You won't believe how quickly someone can go from novice to expert in this field. Can you imagine beating a machine designed to catch lies? It sounds like something out of a spy movie, but it's actually possible. Even police recruits, like those at the LAPD, have been known to share tips on how to stay cool and trick the machine right before taking the test. Here's how they do it. The signs that a polygraph test looks for, like how fast your heart is beating or how much you're sweating, can actually be controlled. People can train themselves to relax or use mental tricks to keep these signs steady, even when being questioned. The government has caught on and isn't too happy about instructors teaching these sneaky tricks. One famous case was Gary Ridgway, who later turned out to be a notorious criminal. He once passed a polygraph test simply by staying calm. He just relaxed and managed to fool the machine, showing that even serious lies can slip through if you know how to control your body's reactions. Speaking of polygraph training, let's zoom in to just how quickly someone can learn to use this controversial machine. It's shorter than you might think. Imagine you're hooked up to a machine with wires and asked a bunch of questions about your past. Even if you're not lying, just the sight of this strange machine can make you super nervous. This is what experts call the placebo effect. It's when you believe something works, so your body reacts as if it does. For a polygraph test, this means if you truly believe the test can catch lies, you might get really anxious, which the machine reads as being nervous or possibly lying. On the other hand, if you think the test is just a bunch of hocus pocus, you might stay calm and not react as much. This difference in belief can really mess with the test results. That's why some experts say a polygraph test is more like a fear detector than a lie detector. It measures how scared or nervous you are, not necessarily whether you're telling the truth. So, someone who's just really nervous might look like they're lying even when they're not. Next, let's peek into the quick training path to becoming a polygrapher. You'll be surprised at how little time it takes to get certified to run these tests. Believe it or not, becoming a polygraph operator is quicker than learning how to cut hair professionally. While barbers spend about 26 weeks mastering their craft, a polygrapher at a top-notch program like the Department of Defense Polygraph Institute only needs 14 weeks of training. That's just about 3.5 months to learn how to operate a machine that's supposed to tell if someone is lying or not. What's more, many polygraph schools don't require much in terms of educational background. It's possible for someone without even an associate's degree to become certified, as long as they have sufficient work or life experience. This raises questions about the level of expertise and knowledge required to handle such a sensitive and potentially impactful tool. Now, after learning how quickly one can become a polygrapher, let's explore another intriguing aspect of polygraphs: the challenge in studying their effectiveness. Get ready for some surprising insights. Ever wonder why it's so hard to tell if lie detectors really work? According to experts like Dr. Leonard Sachs and Dr. Gershon Ben-Shahar, it's almost impossible to test them properly. This is because the emotions in a lab setting, where they use fake crimes to test people, are nothing like real-life stress and fear. Most of the time, when scientists try to figure out if polygraphs can truly catch liars, they set up pretend scenarios. But here's the catch. These don't bring out genuine feelings like actual high-stakes situations would. Plus, it's not really ethical to put someone through that kind of real emotional turmoil just for a study. This makes it super tricky to know for sure what the tests are measuring. Is it real deception or just nervousness? Even studies that say polygraphs work better than random guessing often use these artificial setups. And what's more, many of these studies don't take into account that some people might know tricks to beat the test. Up next, let's uncover the human element behind these machines. Yes, even with all this technology, the outcome can still come down to the person interpreting the results. Stay tuned as we delve into how the polygrapher's role shapes the truth. Think about this. Even though a machine is used in polygraph tests, it's actually a person, the polygrapher, who makes the big decisions. Just like any of us, polygraphers can have their own opinions and biases, which can affect how they interpret the results. So, when someone takes a lie detector test, the person running the machine has a lot of influence over what happens. During the test, the polygrapher talks to the person being tested, asks questions, and watches how they react. Then, they decide if those reactions look truthful. But here's the twist. They also use certain techniques to make people believe the test really works, even though many scientists doubt its accuracy. This means the test is not just about measuring. I often think that lying must be hard work because it involves making up a story and keeping it straight, right? Well, it turns out, deception might not be as effortful as we think. The American Psychological Association points out that there's no solid proof that lying necessarily triggers noticeable physical reactions. This is a big deal because it challenges the whole idea behind lie detectors, that lying can be spotted through physical signs like increased heart rate or sweating. The truth is, scientists still have a lot to learn about how deception works. Without understanding the real mechanics of lying, it's tough to develop technology that can reliably detect lies. This lack of knowledge can lead to serious consequences, like innocent people being wrongly accused or guilty ones walking free based on unreliable test results. The APA suggests a healthy dose of skepticism when it comes to conclusions drawn from polygraph tests. So, next time you hear about a lie detector, remember that detecting deception isn't as straightforward as it might seem. And with that, we wrap up our intriguing journey through the complexities of lie detection and the human element behind it. Thank you for exploring these thought-provoking aspects with me. If you like what I do in here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.